There was once a time in the luxury segments where buying a sedan or SUV truly meant something. You were getting an ownership experience unlike any other. You would go to the dealership, maybe choose leatherette or leather seat materials, a leather stitched dashboard, and just an overall quality and refinement that you wouldn't find out of the mainstream competitors. But here we are in the 2020s, and that gap is closing rather substantially. Today, everyone wants the best technology they can get their hands on, and Mercedes Benz, Audi, and BMW are providing just that at around $50,000. However, it goes one step further than that because design elements are becoming noteworthy, not only for the exterior, but the interior as well, seeing as though that brands are starting to remove physical buttons out of the dashboards for a more minimalist interior, but also for the exterior, they're starting to look futuristic and EV-like. And I look at you, BMW, with that new X3, that's going a bit too far. But if you're someone who's just looking for a normal luxury vehicle, you don't want to draw a lot of attention, but you do want an SUV that is going to be upscale and sophisticated, you might find that here with the 2025 Mercedes Benz GLC. And in today's video, we're going to check out what this model is offering. We're going to check out the exterior, the interior, and take it out for a test drive and see why, if you are looking at buying a luxury compact crossover right now, maybe taking a look at the GLC might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Mercedes Benz of Burlington in Burlington, Massachusetts for letting me come down here to check out the GLC 300 for 2025. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Mercedes Benz inventory. So as always, let's begin with pricing. For 2025 with the Mercedes Benz GLC 300, you're looking at a starting cost of just above $51,000 if you go with the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. Now, why is that important? Well, for a lot of vehicles in this market, including the new BMW X3, it's all-wheel drive only. So if you are watching from a warmer climate in the US, you might go with Mercedes-Benz at the end of the day. Also, just like we saw with the C-Class, the GLC is a bit more expensive than its closest rivals, such as that X3 and Audi Q5. But keep in mind here that with Mercedes-Benz, it is a bit more of a premium and luxurious ownership experience that you're not going to find from competitors. Also, like we saw with the C-Class, there are two other trim levels you can go with besides the base, the Exclusive and Pinnacle. I will leave the features on the screen so that way you can see what those two trims are offering if you are interested in going a bit more upscale for your next luxury compact crossover. But for a base trim, this is more than adequate in its segment, especially just above $50,000. And I do think a lot of you will be happy with the model we are showcasing today. Now, in regard to the exterior appearance of the GLC, it is heavily predicated on the C-Class it's based on and shares platforms with. So you see a lot of those cosmetic elements make its way to the front and rear fascias. You're going to notice the striking body lines on the hood, also of course the full LED headlights. Now, since our model does not have the AMG line package, this is traditional Mercedes-Benz right here with the chrome accents for the lower portion of the front bumper and also the chrome accents that outline the front grille design. If you are looking for a more dynamic appearance, definitely go with that AMG line package. With that package, it does come with its own set of incentives, such as the sports tune suspension, but also the sport seats, much like we saw with the C-Class. Making our way over to the side profile, our model is setting on the optional 19-inch multi-spoke aluminum alloy wheels, which goes perfect with the black paint color for our model today and matches the chrome accents for the exterior. Now, 18s do come standard, but you can also go higher up above 19s if you so desire. Personally, I think 18s and 19s would be the optimal choice in regards to on-road comfort. Since we don't have the AMG line package, not having the sports tune suspension is going to make this vehicle maybe a bit more one-dimensional, where it is going to be luxurious and comfortable when you are commuting to work or going on those longer road trips. It's also along the side profile where you will notice the chrome door handles, brushed aluminum accents for the outlining of the windows, and then for the side mirrors, they are power folding. Also, of course, they're body color matched. You have turn signal indicators, and best of all, you have blind spot detection for added safety. Then as you make your way around to the back, the C-Class styling makes its way for the LED taillights. Again, I love that touch. Also, these taillights are a bit more enhanced than last generation. Since our model, of course, does not have the AMG line package or the night package, the chrome accents once again make their appearance known for the rear diffuser and dual exhaust outlets. But with the night package, you can go with gloss black for a lower profile appearance. It's also from this angle where you do notice a sloping roofline for that sportier appearance. You can go one step further with the GLC Coupe if you so desire, but I think a lot of you are going to prioritize the interior space and headroom, and this would be the better choice out of the two vehicles wearing the GLC badge. Taking a quick peek under the hood for the 2025 Mercedes Benz GLC 300, you are going to receive a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing a total of 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and it is paired with the retuned 9-speed automatic transmission for this generation. So if you are coming from an older Mercedes Benz GLC, first you're going to notice better performance, but also smoother gear shifts as well, and that is helped out by a mild hybrid system, which definitely adds to the smoothness and refinement of this crossover when you are accelerating, but also with that auto start stop system. Now, just like we talked about earlier on in this video, all-wheel drive is an option, so you can go with that year-round capability and versatility if you so desire. In regards to fuel efficiency, you're looking at a very respectable 23 miles per gallon in the city and 31 miles per gallon on the highway. So it is relatively efficient in this market if you are someone looking at buying a luxurious and upscale crossover that's also going to be practical and somewhat economical. Hopping inside the Mercedes Benz GLC 300 we have today, we're greeted by power adjustable and heated MB Tech seats for both the driver and passenger, with both the driver and passenger receiving 3-position memory for added convenience. Also, you can go with the MB Tech Sport seats through the AMG line package, or you can upgrade to leather upholstery. For a vehicle at around $50,000, I find these seats to be rather impressive. The bolstering and support would be typically found in a sports crossover, I find it to be at least, and I think that if you are approaching twists and bends on a winding back road, you'll not be swinging around too much in the GLC at all. And for a lot of luxury crossovers, the bolstering does leave a lot more to be desired, but not with the GLC for 2025. What I really do like about this model, though, is the driving environment, where the dashboard and center console wraps around you, gives you a fighter jet-like cockpit. As we saw with the C-Class, you will have the MB Tech's material on the door panels and dashboard, and that really elevates the driving environment even further, where I feel as though this crossover, even at $50,000 and being a base trim, it feels like it is $10,000 more expensive, so I think a lot of you will be impressed by that for sure. Now, since our model does not come equipped with the AMG line package, we don't receive the sport leather wrap steering wheel or the aluminum paddle shifter, so that is one minor sacrifice. Although one thing I do like to see is the fact that you still receive the paddle shifters. They're just not going to feel as high quality, so you can rotate the gears yourself if you so desire. And in front of you will be a full digital gauge cluster with the exact same layout that we saw in the C-Class. So you can display your navigation map. That is not equipped on our model today, but it is optional for the base GLC. You can also go with the sport layout if you are feeling frisky behind the wheel. And with the GLC, there is an off-road layout. Now, I don't think you'll be doing that in this vehicle because it is a luxury crossover, but it's at least there if you are taking on some light trails. Also, you can display your tire pressure monitoring system and when to go in for that oil change. Then taking a look at the infotainment system, you are going to receive a tablet-like touchscreen here with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. We also have a Burmester sound system, which will amplify the audio of your favorite music. For the screen itself, though, I do think this will become second nature to use, mostly because everything is within arm's reach, and Mercedes-Benz trimmed down on the menu layout and widgets, so it's not as cluttered as you saw last generation with that conjoined screen. At the bottom of this head unit will be the controls for your dual zone climate control, AC, front and rear defrosters, fan speed, and fan direction. While some people will say, but there's no physical buttons for the dual zone climate control or anything else, I'm going to miss that. I actually think you're going to find yourself right at home inside the GLC for 2025. So you can easily access your seat kinetics, your ambient lighting, also vehicle information, your off-road mode, vehicle statistics, settings. So everything is going to be cleanly laid out here, and I don't think you'll be spending 10, 15, or 20 minutes getting used to everything. Hopefully your sales rep will go over all of this with you, but I don't think you'll be confused with this new Mercedes-Benz user experience software. And at the bottom of the screen will be buttons for your drive mode selector, which includes off-road mode. Also, you can quickly access the park assist features and camera views, but since our model is only a base GLC, no 3D view or 360-degree top view, so you might want to go with the exclusive package at the very least. You can also activate your onboard assistant, which I have to Warn you here, she does become a bit annoying after a while if you start giving some audible voice commands, but it is useful if you want to turn on your heated seats or adjust your dual zone climate control. You can also lower and raise the volume for the radio from this button layout as well. For the center console itself, you will notice the gloss black trim here, but that is optional. You can go with more of a classier look for the GLC, which will probably age better and it'll be easier to maintain through the years of ownership. One thing I also don't want to overlook here is the wood grain trim on the dashboard. Very nice touch. For the center console itself, you will find 2 cup holders, a storage compartment for your key fob, wireless phone charging pad, and 2 USB-C inputs. Then for the center storage compartment, it is deep enough for some smaller items, maybe a couple wallets, smartphones, or other tech gadgets. And you'll find another USB-C outlet. And then to round out the front seating area, above will be a panoramic moonroof, which is optional, bringing in a lot of natural light to the interior. Now moving on to the second row, there are a few things I want to point out here about the GLC 300 that we have here today. One being the ambient lighting. Pretty intense for a base crossover, but also for a vehicle at around $50,000. What I absolutely love is the subtle touch for your feet area, but then also on the door panels. I think a lot of you are definitely going to like that, and it most certainly sets the mood if you are driving some friends or family around on a evening cruise. Now, in regards to interior space, you're looking at right around 37.5 inches of legroom, which does fall in line with a lot of crossovers in this market, but more importantly is the amount of headroom. And it is rather surprising because with the GLC, you have a lower roofline and a sportier roofline at that, and the panoramic moonroof. I don't think taller passengers will be hitting their head on the headliner, and then even in regards to that legroom, you're not going to feel too claustrophobic back here. So it's most certainly doable and family friendly. Now, in regards to try squeezing in a third person, I think it could work on a shorter drive, but if you're going on a longer road trip, the person in the center will most certainly be feeling squished for sure. Now, we do not have heated outboard seats on our model today, but I will say that the MB Tech seating upholstery does feel rather nice and upscale. Also, of course, a decent amount of cushioning for the backs of these seats as well. You're going to notice 2 center-mounted air vents, but a bit surprising, no USB-C or USB-A outlet, but you will receive a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Then as you make your way around to the back, one more time to take a look at the rear cargo area, you are going to receive a power liftgate. And inside, behind the second row seats, you're looking at right around 22 cubic feet of room, which does seem rather small for a vehicle in this market, does it not? Well, it does outclass the Alfa Romeo Stelvio and is on par with the Lexus NX, but does fall short compared to the BMW X3 and Audi Q5. I personally think this is all deceptive though, because there's a lot of room back here. Maybe not necessarily in regards to height, but most certainly in regards to width. I was able to fit all my camera gear today, no problem. So I have 3 bags of camera gear, a gimbal box, and a tripod. And there's a lot more room to stack on even more items. So I think that if you are going on a road trip with the family, you can easily store 10, 11, or 12 bags of luggage back here with limited issues. Now, one thing I will say though is that if you are primarily looking for a vehicle that is practical and a vehicle that wears the Mercedes Benz badge, you might want to go with the GLB. Although I think the GLC will be a bit more refined and upscale, especially at around 50 grand. Now on the left side of the rear cargo area, you will notice some netting for some smaller items such as a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. Just like we saw with the C-Class, and I love to see this in any vehicle, regardless of market, is the quick release levers that will conveniently lower the second row seats. So that way, you're not stuck manually lowering them when you do have a lot of gear that you want to throw into the back of your GLC. Now with the second row seats folded though, you're looking at right around 56 cubic feet of room. Again, not going to be a class leader in this market, but I wouldn't worry too much about the overall practicality with this vehicle. I think a lot of you do like the size of the GLC, and that's one of the reasons why it is the best seller in the lineup. Best of all, beneath the floor mat, you are going to find a spare tire, so if you encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. Out of all the luxury compact crossovers from Europe, the Mercedes Benz GLC has to be the most unique in this segment, because it's not going to be one-dimensional, but it's also not going to lean too heavily as being an off-road worthy crossover, nor is it going to be the most dynamic. It won't feel like an Alfa Romeo Stelvio or BMW X3. It's not going to be off-road worthy like you're going to find out of a Land Rover product. And it's also not going to be solely luxurious like a Volvo XC60. What you have here with the Mercedes Benz GLC for 2025 is an SUV that feels very much well-rounded. And in the past, for the prior generation, the GLC was going to be luxury first. It was going to have that refinement and quality, but it wasn't going to be the most fun. Now, you do have the 2-liter turbo 4 with the 9-speed automatic transmission and mild hybrid system, giving you a lot of refinement. I find this powertrain to be buttery smooth and this 9-speed to be quick shifting. Even though I am a big fan of the ZF 8-speed in the BMW X3 and of course the dual clutch in Audi products, what you have here with this 9-speed is more than adequate for an SUV at around $50,000. Now, I will say, though, that with the GLC, and this is just coming from an enthusiast, you gotta go with the AMG line package, not because of the exterior looks or that sports steering wheel, but rather the sports tune suspension gives you a lot of connectivity to the roadways. Because one thing I'm feeling here with the GLC is a lack of that. Because with the AMG line package, with that sports tune suspension, you get a heavier steering feel, you get more feedback in the corners, whereas this is a bit more sedated, this is a bit more laid back. This is primarily for someone just looking for a luxury crossover, which is more than fine. I know a lot of you are definitely going to be looking at a GLC equipped very much like this. Now, that does go hand in hand with this softly tuned suspension. You glide over the roadways very well with this model, even with the optional 19-inch wheels, which is why I think that going with the 18s or 19s will be the best choice. But going over the potholes and imperfections, you barely feel them, and it doesn't translate to the interior. Now, as I talked about earlier on with these seats, they are definitely aggressively bolstered and supportive, and to me that goes a long way for a vehicle like this. While typically aggressive bolsters and a lot of support would go hand in hand with a sports crossover, this complements the GLC's laid-back demeanor. With this Turbo 4, even in sport mode, it doesn't make that much noise, so interior insulation is going to be pretty top-notch for an SUV at around $50,000. And it is one thing I have noticed here with Mercedes-Benz products is that they definitely prioritize that. So even though Mercedes-Benz is starting to get in touch with their sportier side, they're still focusing on that luxury and overall refinement. As we enter the corners here, there is going to be some body roll associated with the GLC. Again, that's why I'd rather go with the AMG line package for this model. But then again, it does have the ground clearance and lack of lower center of gravity, so that's to be expected. Also, if you are looking for an aggressive and dynamic GLC, go with the 43. On the brakes, nice and strong here. I'm a bit surprised by that. Mercedes-Benz's braking systems haven't always been the best, but I think they're working on that for these newer models. So getting on the highway here, nice linear power band, can easily get on the highway safely. Now, we're not going to be on the highway long enough to pass some slower drivers here, but with a 0 to 60 time of around 6.2 seconds, this is very much in line with its closest rivals. Now, I will say, though, that using the paddles, the gear shifts are not the most responsive. However, for a GLC 300, you're probably not going to be in manual mode. For me, though, it's all about the driving environment with the GLC 300, because what you have here with the technology, even the seating material and overall quality, is something I think a lot of manufacturers right now in this market are beginning to fail at. Because when you take a look at what BMW is doing with the X3, then of course Audi with the new B10 Q5, I think they're going overboard. Obviously with the GLC, it's not going to feel like a GLE or GLS. I'm not expecting that out of a $50,000 SUV. But in regards to the technology, the full digital gauge cluster, the center console design with this tablet-like touchscreen, this is easier to use than what you're going to find with the iDrive 9 user interface from BMW. And I haven't yet experienced the new B10 Audi Q5, so I'll have to wait and see on that one. But also for the digital gauge cluster, there's no sun glare, and you get a lot of that with the BMW X3. So I think for a vehicle in this market that's supposed to be upscale and luxurious, You're getting all of that here, not only when it pertains to the seating material or the dashboard, the door panels, and maybe even just the ride quality, it's a technology as well. And Mercedes-Benz has to get the tech right. Actually, any manufacturer has to be on point with their technology. And I think that's what Mercedes-Benz is doing right now. And I think if you had asked me this a couple of years ago, I would have said, Mercedes-Benz is falling behind. They're just not there with their conjoined screen, with their old Mercedes-Benz user experience software. I think they are there now. All in all, with the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, this is exactly what a luxury compact crossover should be right now. No futuristic styling for the exterior, no complicated technology for the interior, just a no-nonsense, comfortable, family-friendly daily driver. Why is that so difficult? You really can't find that anymore from a lot of manufacturers, more specifically BMW. I feel as though that everyone wants to make headlines more than actually giving you a vehicle you want to own and drive for years to come. With the Mercedes-Benz GLC, you have that for 2025. You have a vehicle that does feel comfortable, that does feel somewhat sporty, and also has a design that is posh, upscale, and luxurious. It's a home run hit, and it's no wonder that it is the best-selling Mercedes-Benz in the US. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review for the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.